Back now at 7:30 here on CBS Mornings, and as electric vehicle sales take off, the White House is hoping that the batteries that power them will be made right here in America. Problem is that is not the case right now, generally speaking. 75% of battery manufacturing done in China. To change that, the Biden administration is awarding $2.8 billion in grants to a dozen states, all in an effort to boost battery production. But all of those EV batteries require critical minerals like nickel. Senior national and environmental correspondent Ben Tracy is going to take us now to a Minnesota town that could play a very big role in our electric future. And he finds out why some residents there are worried.
In Tamarack, Minnesota, withering winds have made it hard to age gracefully. You're likely to see more hay bales here than actual people. And the town's heyday seems to have played out long ago. But soon the trains that rumble through town could be stopping to pick up loads of much-needed metal, thanks to a massive deposit of nickel discovered underneath this unassuming home. How big of a deal is a nickel deposit like this?
This is a world-class deposit.
Todd Malin works for Talon Metals. His company hopes to turn 100 acres of farmland into the nation's largest source of nickel, a mineral critical for electric car batteries. Nickel makes the batteries last longer so the cars go farther, and it's expected the world will need 20 times more of it by 2040. Currently, the U.S. produces less than 1% of world supply, leaving American EV makers reliant on supplies from places like Russia, China, Indonesia, and Australia.
No country wants to be dependent on another country for a source of its energy.
President Biden has put nickel on a list of minerals essential to national security and wants more of it mined domestically. So this is your newest drill?
Yes, it can drill about 8,000 feet, about a mile and a half underground.
Talon has drilled nearly 500 test holes, mapping them in 3D and sorting the core samples inside this warehouse in Tamarack.
This is about 9% nickel.
Head geologist Brian Goldner says the nickel they found here is some of the best in the world.
So when you guys drilled down there and got a sample and you saw that, what were you thinking?
We thought it was fake at first.
Talon hopes to open the Minnesota mine in 2026, when the only other U.S. nickel mine is set to close. It says it will create 300 jobs in the poorest county in the state. The company already has a deal to supply nickel to Tesla. Now it's up to the state of Minnesota to approve the mine, and some people who live here have questions.
Where is the scientific data that says this is safe?
Melanie Benjamin is chief executive of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. Its tribal land is less than 2 miles from the proposed mine. She worries about pollution impacting fragile wetlands where native tribes fish, hunt, and have harvested wild rice on the water for generations.
There is a spiritual connection to the water, to the plants, to the animals, to the land. It's going to devastate the land, and the land may never come back from that devastation. That's pretty scary.
A group of homeowners worried about sulfuric acid runoff from the mine leaking into pristine waterways have banded together to fight the project. Talon says it will process the nickel out of state and says the deep underground mine poses little risk to the environment.
Do you believe any of that?
Asking Talon or asking any mining company about how they're going to take care of the community and the environment is kind of like asking the fox how he's taking care of the chicken coop.
And do you understand why people around here would be worried, given the history of the mining industry, which is not particularly great?
Absolutely. We totally understand the context and the history. We understand how precious this environment is.
The need for mining like this raises an inconvenient truth. There is a dirty side to clean energy.
So if you think about solar power, wind power, batteries, all of those are dependent on metallic minerals. Instead of saying yes or no about mining operations, we should be transitioning to a conversation about how and where.
But if the where is where you live, that conversation is not so simple.
When this mining is done, they're going to pack up and leave, and we're going to be the ones left here.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Ben Tracy in Tamarack, Minnesota.